Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming to class today. We're going to actually lay down, but sit up for a moment. So here's that. How's that for confusing? Go ahead and sit up for a moment, and if you want to sit on a blanket or a block, go ahead and do that. We may not lay down. Now that I'm seated, I might start here. Today, I want to play with the feet. So important. And foundation, just the foundation in our poses and the connective tissue, just kind of all kinds of things related to the foundations in our lives and where we come from, right? What is our intention? What are our core, maybe, values? And how do we move through the world that way? I'll talk about that later. um, I had visitors recently, and I was struggling with one of them, and I really struggled with these feelings of how I was feeling versus how I thought I should feel, and kind of that whole mishmash of, was I being true to my foundations? So that is a work in progress, my darlings. I thought I would start by reading, of course, Mark Nepo, who I've been reading from his book quite a bit. And this one, interestingly, is called Wingspan. So find a nice, comfortable seat and just start to tap in to your foundation right here. Where are you seated? What do you feel on the floor? What parts of your body, depending on how you've chosen to sit? And then lift out of that space, out of that grounding, to find your spinal alignment. And so in Wingspan, he says, when the mind stops, the heart eases. Then my soul hovers the way a hawk glides, watching everything. In these moments, I never want to land or pump my wings again. This might be joy, letting life carry us. This might be peace, moving without moving, the mind and heart ever opening. And I love that. I love that. I love all this stuff. But it really made me think that even in yoga, right? Sometimes we forget to pause. We forget to stop the movement and just kind of soar in the pose without feeling the need to go to the next place and the next place. So with that, go ahead and sit well and just see where you are in your body. Where are you in your mat, on your mat? Where are the habit patterns that are with us so much of the time, sometimes with awareness and sometimes being unaware? Perhaps it's a shoulder rolling forward on one side, or a hip shift, or the head moving forward. And can we come to a place, maybe a micro movement, and then pause and go, how does that feel? Can I stay here for a while? Is there peace in this moment, in this pose? And feel the breath draw in and feel the breath let go. Simply breathing, nothing else to do, nowhere else to go. Imagine soaring in the sky on a thermal current without effort. This pose without effort. This breath without effort. And then if it's all right for your body, go ahead and let your chin drop down to chest. And relax your face as much as you can. while we stretch the back of the neck, maybe the upper back muscles. Always mindful of your particular body, always listening to your inner teacher. And then very slowly allow the left ear to go to the left shoulder. Leave the hands where they are. Maybe lift the chin away from that shoulder. And then tuck the chin in, come back to center, go to the other side, first ear to shoulder. And then move the chin away from the chest. And then tuck it again. Good, one more, coming over to the first side, right, or left ear to left shoulder. Maybe let the right fingertips come to the floor. Relax your face as much as you can. We will tend to grimace here or tighten the jaw muscles. And then shift the chin away from the chest as if you were going to lift it up toward the sky. And as you exhale, that chin tucks, the hand comes back to the knee, you go back through center, you go to the other side. Soften your face. Let the fingertips come to the floor. Move the chin. Tuck the chin. Come back to center. Take the head back up to neutral. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale right to your heart. Close the eyes, roll the shoulders back. And maybe consider your foundation, your pose, your life, your way of being in the world. And let those hands go, shake it out, just shake out those fingers. All right, so I want you to take one leg out. We're going to start by working on the feet. And I wanted to read you something to just consider the marvel of these things at the terminal end of our bodies. So the feet has 26 bones, 33 joints, 107 ligaments, and 19 muscles. Think about that for a moment. All of that packaged in this little lovely foot. So bring your foot where you can. The bottom leg doesn't have to be bent under. In fact, if you can come into a little seated figure four, especially if you're sitting up on a blanket, it's a great place to access these feet. And I want you to just start to use your thumb at the base of the foot all the way through the arch, and then all the way back down again to the heel. And if you're like me, you're going to find some tender spots. I'm barefoot a lot. It's my preferred way to be, especially in the house, obviously teaching. Good. And just keep working your way from the inner arch to the outer rim of your foot. And when you get to the outer rim, that pinky side, I want you to see if you can just squeeze. I hope you can see this between your thumb and index finger. And then just work your way up to the pinky toe, all the way up. And then take your toes and press them back. And then curl them under. Good. Just press them back and away, right? We're in this kind of pose all the time in yoga. And then press them away as if you're curling those feet. And then if you can, take one finger between each toe. Just do your best, okay? Everybody has different feet and issues and stuff. So I want you to do a nice big circle with your fingers between your toes. Circle that ankle. And circle the other way. And then pull the toes away, right? So I'm pulling those toes with my fingers. And then I'm going to release the fingers. I'm going to stay with the same foot, want you to take a finger between your big toe and your second toe, right down in that kind of soft spot. You're going to feel probably a little tender spot. So just kind of rub in there. That is an acupuncture point, and a couple of different acupuncture points. You can use your thumb. Just press in there. Good. One more little round. And then keep that foot on the floor and just spread your toes. And even put that foot out where you can see it. Now, I find with many people, especially women, there is a love-hate with these feet, right? We have stuff. We might like our feet. We might not like the shape of our feet. We may have some injuries going on. So I want you to look at your foot, spread your toes, crunch your toes, and then just send your foot a few little love messages, because this is one of your foundations, right? One of the ways we support ourselves in the world. And maybe later go get a foot massage or give yourself one. So love on your foot and then switch sides. Take the other one. Maybe it's a seated figure four. Maybe you've got the knee down. Maybe you have the leg straight. And take your thumb and just work on the inner arch. And I'll just turn here a little bit in case you're wondering. I'm just working my way up. A lot of times we'll do this with a tennis ball, right? Working my way up and then coming in a little bit. And just working with some of the fascia here, some of the connective tissue, going all the way out toward the rim. And when you're on that pinky side, see if you can grab either between the fingers or the knuckle and just work your way all the way up that pinky. Good. And then take your hand and lace your toes with your fingers. And if one toe doesn't cooperate, or a couple of your toes are really pressed together, just go with the other ones and circle. So what I love about yoga in particular is this beautiful lack of judgment and instead inquiry, right? So circling that ankle and then pull on your toes, just pull and let that go, and then bend the toes toward the front of your shin and curl them back. Ooh. And then curl and then flex them toward your shin and curl them in. And then set that foot on the floor, go between your big toe, your second toe, down between the bones there, and just press in. And I think you'll be amazed at the tender spots there. Woo. I haven't had acupuncture in a long time, but almost always they put a needle right in there. And it feels good in a bad way or a bad in a good way. Good. So feel that, and then just set that foot out in front of you and send it some love. Maybe rub on it. Just be kind. And think about that 26 bones, 33 joints, 107 ligaments, and 19 muscles that make up that one foot. Good job, everybody. Straighten both feet out in front of you and flex the feet and press through the big toe mounds. And imagine that you are standing on the floor with your toes off the floor. Okay, so again, something we do regularly. Imagine pressing the four corners of your feet on either side into the imaginary floor. So the outsides of your ball mounds, the outsides of your heels, press them down. Dandasana, the quadriceps are active. The hands go to your side body. The shoulders draw back. The elbows tuck in just a little bit, depending on the length of your arms. Big deep breath, big deep breath. Press through the big toes. Spread the toes all nice and wide and let that go and shake it out, everybody. Go back to that first side. Come into a true figure four, seated figure four. Where the ankle is beyond the thigh, ideally, you all know, right? If your leg needs to be straighter, go ahead and do that. And then find the center of the sit bones. So see if you can find equal weight from this hip to this hip right in the middle. The foot that's on the floor, I want you to flex and point, flex, point, flex, squeeze it in, point. Good. Just two more. Flex, point, and flex, and point. Last one. Flex, and then point, and then see if you can just raise the toes. Just raise the toes. Try to keep the ball mound down. Yeah, my calf muscle's going, excuse me, not quite warmed up yet. Breathe. And then let the toes go. Either stay here or come in a little bit deeper because you can, your hip allows that, or grab the leg, straighten the other leg, flexing both feet, and just feeling this really nice kind of rock the baby sort of pose as we stretch through this whole side hip. And then find that Dandasana. Release that leg wherever it is, straighten it out, press it down, feel the legs get active, level out your feet, come really, really tall in your posture. Inhale the arms up, ouch, and draw the belly in and find this beautiful staff pose. Exhale, let it go. Shake it out. Go to the other side, figure four. Again, just find where you are. You can be sitting up on a block. Your lower leg can be straighter so that you're not rounding. And then find the center line of those sit bones again so you feel evenly weighted on both sides. The foot that's down on the floor, flex, point, flex, point. Yep. Flex, really flex and really point. It doesn't matter how much, just working that effort, working the muscles of the shin and the calf. Last one, flex and point. Keep the point. See if you can lift the toes. Ooh, there's some serious muscles, right? And let those toes go. Maybe come into a deeper version of seated figure four. Maybe, maybe not. Either here, leg straighter, or you can grab that leg and you can cuddle it. You can hold it underneath, by the way. It's a really nice version. Flex both feet. Ooh. Maybe shake it out a little. This is certainly the tighter hip for me today. Good. Let that go. Straighten the leg. Get really tall. Hands down to your side. Press through the big toe mounds if you tend to roll them in. Lengthen the inner ankles, the inner line of the legs. Take those arms up. Oh, and breathe, everybody. Exhale, let it come down. And shake it out. Last one while we're seated. Again, you can sit on a block. You can sit on a blanket. Grab your strap if you have it nearby. You're coming into Baddha Konasana, and I want you to take the strap underneath the pinky side of your feet as you take the soles of the feet together. So all you got to do. It's on that pinky side edge. The soles of the feet are coming together. Press the toes away from each other. So press the toes out. You're flaring them out as you press the ball mounds into each other and sit really tall. Grab your strap, which is kind of mid-foot, and just pull up. You're not trying to lift your feet. You're not trying to do anything. You're just creating a little resistance. As I pull the strap up and toward my body, I'm pressing the feet down. Good. Breathe, everybody. So the thing about these types of poses, hip stuff, if your knees are way up here, I would love to see you on a couple blankets or a block or something to get the hips higher, right? That will help the hips. And just pull up, draw the shoulders back, tone the belly in, lengthen your tailbone. And then let go of the strap, set that aside, Grab one of your blocks if you're not using them both to sit, and see if you can take it between the feet at the narrowest level. Once you do, lift your hips, press the sit bones back, and then gently hold on to the ankles or the hands come behind so that you can sit upright. Press into your block, everybody. Press the toes, press the feet, try to find the four corners, right? Both outer edges of the ball mound, both sides of the heels. Find your breath. Spread the toes, spread, spread, spread. Breathe. And let go of that. Take that block out, set it up at the front of your mat. Probably going to want a blanket underneath your knees. So bring those legs together and come on up to table pose, possibly and probably with a blanket to help support the knees. So once you're in table pose, your hands can go on your blocks. Blocks are at the lowest level. And press into the blocks, tone the belly, slip your toes under. And again, I do ask you to be mindful of your feet. I know some of you have had surgery on your feet, and I really want you to be mindful of taking care of those feet. So feel that, right? Feel the toes tuck under. Feel the stretch at the backs of the feet. Only if you want, go ahead and sit back and press a little more weight into the toes. And then press up and lean forward. Exhale, press back. Inhale, forward. And last one, just press back, sitting back on those toes. Draw the inner ankles in. I just realized my ankles were really splaying out. Draw them in. Breathe. And then release it. Undo that. Just tap the tops of your feet. Same thing, but the feet are flat. So it's kind of like a child's pose, right? You're going to lean back. You're not going to sit all the way back. Watch the knees. And then you're just going to lean forward, but you're going to keep those feet pressing into the floor. Lean back. Come forward. And lean back. Last one. And forward. Flip your toes under. Leave your left foot where it is. Step your right foot forward. I'm going to take my blocks up just a little bit higher and find kind of a first lunge, but a little different. The toes are flipped under. I'm going to take my hands to my knees and I'm going to lean back. So what are we doing? We got all kinds of stretching going on here, right? The quadricep stretching, watch the knee, the toes flipped under changes the weight on the back of the foot. If this hurts your toes or your feet, undo the toes. And then level out the hips and point everything forward. What I mean by that is the back of the heel. See, the heel wants to roll out. Try to point the heel back, the hips even, the thighs straight up, pressing into this front foot. Take the arms up if you want. I'm going to take mine to my heart. Big deep breath. And then undo the back toes. Keep the pose. Tuck the pelvis a little bit. Try to find the middle ground here, that where everything is lining up, where the outer hip is lining up with the knee. And let that go. Whoo, that's some stretch. And release, switch side. Bringing the left foot forward, keeping the right knee back, flip your toes under. Tone in through the belly, take your hands to your knee, lean back a little bit. Always watch the knees here. You can come into a more standard lunge if this is too much on the knees. More standard meaning you're coming forward, but still keeping the toes tucked under. Sorry, I didn't say that on the other side. And then level the pelvis, level the shoulders, Feel the outer heel and see if you can tuck it in a little bit as if there was a little magnet on the inner ankle of your back foot. Notice what the front foot's doing, right? That might be all over the place. Does that feel even? Find your breath, take your hands to your heart. Feel the spine nice and tall. Imagine making the front thigh a little bit longer and then undo the toes, hold the pose. See if you can draw that weight back a little bit. And release it. Switch sides again. Bring the right foot forward, the left foot back. Flip your toes under, lift your knee. Your hands are on your blocks. Look at both feet. Try to square both feet. In other words, especially the back heel, it's not rolling out, it's not rolling in, unless you need to do that to take care of your body, which is awesome and perfectly fine. I want you to put a lot of weight in the front foot. A lot of weight. You're going to lean over that foot. Lift your toes. Find your breath. Squeeze your back leg. Squeeze your back glute. Activate. Draw the inner ankle of your back foot in towards center. And then press the weight away from the front foot to straighten that front leg. You can go higher on your blocks, by the way. Here we are again. Look at your front foot. Press into the four corners, lift your toes. Look at your back foot. Is it rolling in or out? And if it is, can you square it a little bit? So both legs are working in the same direction. Find that. And then imagine, right, this beautiful bird soaring through the sky without effort. So here's the not effort part. Find what feels good. I just raised my blocks. Draw the shoulders back, a little tone to the belly. And maybe you close your eyes. Maybe you feel the inner line of your leg all the way to the inner groin. You feel the back leg take over the inner line of the groin down to the inner ankle. Optionally, flex your front foot and lift and be just on the heel of that foot. Try to breathe here. Release the front foot, bend the front knee, lower the back knee, undo your toes, allow the hips to press forward. Good job, everybody. And switch sides. Your left foot is forward, your right foot is back. You are hips width apart. Don't forget all that, right? Flip your toes under, lift your knee. Find the line. Think about it. Big toe, inner line of the big toe, inner line of the ankle, inner line of the leg to the groin. And it's like a switch on a railroad track, right? Going to the other track, finding that nice, beautiful line. Weight the front leg. So I'm actually pushing my weight forward. You can move the blocks forward. I'm pushing it forward to give a bunch of weight to that front leg. Breathe. Back foot is even, mostly on the toes, right, of that back foot. And then as you press the back heel straight back, the front leg straightens. And then we play again. Where is it? Look at your own body. Look at your own foot. Does your front ankle roll out? Does it roll in? Can you find that middle line? Look at your back foot. Is it pretty well straight? What happens if you turn it a little bit? And then find the line, everybody. Big toe in the front to inner line of the heel in the back. Flex your front foot optionally. I've just lifted that whole front of my foot off the floor. And then take a deep breath. And feel yourself softening. Bend your front knee, lower your back knee, set your blocks to either side of your yoga mat. Take your front foot and walk it back. So your knee and knee again. Press into the front, press into your hands. Flip your toes under. Lift the knees just a little. And then start to bring the chest toward the thighs. And imagine that you are moving the weight into the ball mounds of both feet. Look at your feet, look at your ankles. Are they rolling out? Are they rolling in? Can you find the line? And then straighten the knees to your level. Level out the feet. Inner ankles lightly draw toward each other. The upper body gets long. The belly lifts from the pubic bone to the belly button. Find your breath. And then walk the hands back. Back, 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 all the way back. Ooh, you can move your blanket out of the way and come on up to standing. Whew. And shake everything out. Grab one block. Oh, yeah, just find your breath, everybody. Grab a block, take it between your thighs. Find a solid, steady spot on your floor. Go to the outside of your feet and then roll them in. So there's a thing in a lot of yoga classes. I don't hear it as much anymore, but it was for years, and I think it was Anusara, to bring the shins in. And I was like, how do you bring your shins in without bringing everything else in? So imagine that you're going to unscrew the lids of jars and your feet are the lids. And I want to turn them both out isometrically, right? So that the shins line up more without bringing the block forward. Tricky, right? Last class, we worked with that block going back to keep the sit bones wide. So how do we find that? If we go back too far, we hyperextend the knees. So the front of the toes turn out isometrically. The inner heels walk in isometrically, don't move them. The inner ankles move in. I'm going to lift all my toes, find the four corners, and breathe. I'm spreading out my fingers like they were my toes. Spread out your toes. And then see if you can place the big toes down. And then spread the rest of the toes and press those down. And feel the line that is the hip joint to the ankle. You can even look, where is your outer ankle and where is your hip joint? Are you forward? Do you feel the weight heavy in the feet, in the toes? Do you feel the weight heavy in your heels? Can you find the middle line? Find your breath. Squeeze and see if you can walk the feet in just a little bit more, and then bend the knees and put your hands on your knees. I'm going to turn sideways here. So my feet are parallel to each other. My toes are spread out. Whoop. I'm unscrewing the lids of the jars so that the inner ankles draw in a little bit. And then I'm going to take this torso up and reach the arms up. I have a very sore arm, so it's really hard to extend. Whew. Breathe. I think this will be good for it. So I'm going to try a little bit. Breathe, everybody. Take your hands to your heart, right? So those who weren't in the pre-class conversation are going, what's wrong with her? Good. Lift your heels off the floor. Squeeze your block. Lift your heels off the block. You're looking straight forward, kind of down a little bit. Find your steady point. Lower the heels and stand up and take your block out. Whoop. Shake it out. So foundation pose, right? Tadasana, foundation pose, mountain pose. Pretend the block is there. And imagine, if you can, if you're comfortable, even if you're near a wall or one finger to a wall, I want you to close the eyes and feel your feet. Spread your toes. Try to access the four corners. Try to unscrew the lids of the imaginary jar. Breathe. Notice that. And then as we do the action with the feet, what happens to the thighs? They lift and engage. I'm not hyperextending. Move that lift and engagement of the quads to the outer hips, right? Feel the glutes become active, tailbone long, chest is tall. Bring your hands to your heart. If you can, close your eyes. If not, please don't do that, right? If you feel unsteady, tap into your feet, tap into your foundation. Take a really deep breath. And then keep the feet, but press the hips back to come into chair pose, right? Into your squat. Where are you? Where's the chest? Where's your gaze? Where's the weight in your feet? In chair pose, that weight is to the back of the feet. So can we find that? And then lengthen tailbone one way, chest the other way, and take the arms up. Whew, and breathe, or to your heart, because you want to give your sore arm a break. Find that. Where's the feet? Can you unscrew the jars without dropping the knees? And stand all the way up and shake it out. Nice job, everybody. Come on up to the front of your mat and have your blocks near the front of your mat. Inhale, take it up. Exhale all the way down. Hands to blocks. Soften your knees. Heel your right heel off the floor so you're on the ball mound of that foot. And then lengthen the torso forward. Tailbone long. Lift your right foot, step back to a lunge. Find that. Look at the feet. My front hip for me has to roll back. I tend to collapse on this ankle, so I want to lift my inner arch, maybe take my toes off the floor. Then I want to find line from my big toe, inner ankle, inner thigh as I straighten the leg. It's like somebody's drawing the inner thigh line back. Front foot to back foot, both feet ideally straight or slightly turned in if you need to. Breathe, find your blocks. Press the toes to the floor. Lengthen your torso. Maybe you start to come down a little lower. When you lowered your torso, did your body lean into the outer foot? Did the weight move into your outer foot? If it did, come back to the middle. Press through the back foot as well. Bend your back knee. Keep everything else the same. See if you can get a little longer in the front leg. And then straighten the back leg a little more. Whew. Bend your front knee. Step forward. Woohoo. And just step back with the other leg. Wowee. Yeah, right? Felt that one. That was a big old stretch. Draw the shoulders back. Find your footing. Look at your front foot. Look at the front ankle, the front inner arch. Maybe lift your toes. Start to follow the line from front foot to back foot. Look at your back foot and see if you can level that foot out as well. And then draw the line as if someone were pulling a thread from the inner line of the front foot to the front groin, to the back groin, to the back heel, the back inner heel. And look again. I have a habit pattern on the left side to roll that heel in. And it's kind of fun to play with. There's no pain, no discomfort. It's like, oh, look at that. There it goes. So on my left side, because my left heel wants to drop in, I'm going to move from the inner left groin to see if I can roll that back. Breathe. Maybe you bend the elbows. Bend the back knee. Get longer in the front leg. And then straighten that front leg. Easy, easy, everybody. Bend the front knee. Woo. Walk your blocks forward and step forward. Little forward fold here. You can take your hands to the floor if you would like. Bend your knees. Pretend there's a block between the thighs. Hands come to your knees. Lift up, hands to heart, chair pose. And breathe. Take the arms out if you would like. Unscrew the jars of your feet isometrically and stand all the way up. Exhale all the way down. And shake, 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 shake it out. All right, little bit of a block setup here. Let me take a little sip of tea. You're going to take one block at the lowest level on the left side, left-ish side of your mat, because your foot, your ball mound is going to go up on that block. Your second block is going to be at the highest level right in front of you. If you happen to have 3 blocks, you could do 2 for your hands, 1 for your foot. So you're standing behind it, maybe a little further. If your balance is challenged, I'd stay closer as opposed to further. And even this is just maybe 2 foot lengths back. Take the left foot, if your block is to the left, and place the ball mound on the block and drop the heel. You can adjust your back foot. This time that back foot is slightly angled, so the toes are out just a little bit, or the front foot is out just a little. The hips square. I hinge at the hips, and then I want to see if I can get to my block. If you can't, if that's too low to start, take your hands to your shin. If you feel really unsteady, take your foot off the block and go to a low blanket instead. So the shoulders are down. The heel is on the floor. My foot is level. I'm going to push into my big toe mound. I might even give myself a little acupressure point here that we did at the beginning, right? And then I'm going to reach into the back leg, keeping the front leg straight. So back leg is bending, back knee is bending, torso is long, front leg is stretching. And then take your front toes and try to smash them onto the top of your block. Like press them down and bend your front knee a little bit as you weight the front leg. Yes, indeed. You should be feeling a quite intense little stretch here. The front knee is soft, it's bending, right? The hips are level, the torso is long. Find your breath. And then find the middle spot. So the middle spot is I'm equal on the back foot. I feel equally weighted on the front foot. I'm breathing. Maybe I take my hands to the floor or to both blocks, right? And find your breath. Good. Hands are on your block. Step off that front block. Just step back, bend your knees, and come on up. So big, big stretches for the fascia underneath the foot, from the heel through the Achilles into the calf muscles. It's an amazing and marvelous thing. And then set up on the other side. So I've got one block tall, one block low. The low block is more to the right side of middle. And I'm going to set my right foot on it, maybe walk my left foot back, level everything out. There we go. So start to hinge from the hip. Take your hands to your block, find that. If it's too low, please take your hands to your shin or take this block that's under your foot out. Maybe you lengthen that pose a little bit, the back foot turned outward just a little bit. This is a variation of pyramid pose. And then straighten the front leg and breathe. And I keep tapping back to the poem that I read earlier, that once we're here, once the efforting is done, can we just float in the pose? Can we play? Is your front hip rolled forward and your back hip is rolled back? Can you square that? Can you find that? Good. Bend your back knee. Lengthen your front knee. Switch. So bend the front knee. Whew. Plant your toes on your block. Keep the torso long as you can. Press through the back foot. Maybe you take your hands to your blocks instead. weighting the front foot, getting into that, the fascia at the heel, the plantar fascia, right? The Achilles. Breathe. Straighten the leg. Step off. Ooh. Find your breath. Bend both knees, hands to knees, lift up and come on up. Oh, and shake everything out, everybody. Grab one block, move the other one out of the way. You're going to take that block between your shins. I think I went long way, or second width between your shins. We talked about shins in. Here's another way to feel that. As you press the shins in onto the block, if you kept pressing, you might feel the inner groin lengthen in and back, right? So we're pressing in on the shins. I want you to find the long inner line of the feet to the inner shins, to the inner groin. Notice your outer hip lined up with your outer ankle, so you're not forward and you're not back. So lean forward. Please be mindful here, right? Because we're shifting when our legs are kind of pushed together. Just shift forward so that you feel more weight on the toes. And notice what happens to your body if this is your normal habit body position. If you are leaning forward, what's happening? What has to work extra hard to stay in those toes? And then come back to the middle and see if you can lean back. Be careful here. I'm actually poking my butt out just a little for stability, and lift your toes and feel what's happening. And I said it right there. I had to poke my butt out to find stability, because if I stayed straight and leaned back, right? So where are we? Rock back and forth, maybe heels, toes, heels, whew, toes, and then find center. Close your eyes. Four corners of the feet, outer and inner lines. The jar lids are trying to loosen by opening out to the sides just a little. We're squeezing that block gently. The whole torso starts to line up. Tailbone is heavy. The outer hips and glutes are working to support our foundation, right? It's kind of cool, really. And then just let go of the block and kick it off to the side and shake it out. We got one more here. Find mountain pose. Take your hands to your hips. Look straight ahead. Try not to look at your feet, and march in place. Just march, march, march. In fact, you can get the arms moving. Just march in place. Keep your gaze looking forward, and then stop how you would normally stop. And then look down on at your feet and see if they're even. Without fail, my left foot is slightly forward of my right foot. And I think I sort of adjusted there because I knew where we were going. So walk your feet even again. Parallel, level. If you had a line drawn, your big toes or whichever is your longest toe would be touching that line. Find that, look forward. This time I want your hands to those front as-its bone, the anterior superior iliac spines, those hip bones that you can feel. Hands there, shoulders back, march in place. Look forward, no looking down. And then stop, don't look at your feet. Feel your hips, level your hips. Where are they? Which one's high, which one's low, which one's forward, which one's back? Spread your toes. Keep looking forward. Press the toes down. Level the hips. Look at your feet. Pretty darn even, or maybe closer. So again, right? feet, foundation, hips, where are they? Where are the shoulders? Where's the crown of the head? If I lean forward, if I'm rounding, all that weight goes to toes. I think you get the idea. I think I have gotten where I want to go with this class. Good. Shake it out, everybody. All right. So basic tree pose. Tree pose. One hand to a wall. Absolutely marvelous. I want you to shift into your favorite foot, whichever one you feel better with today. And then just play with that foot, right? Maybe circle the knee, ankle, maybe twist and turn like you're digging a little bit of a hole in that foundation, and then press the foot down. Find level, find the four corners, shift into that leg and come to the toes of your other leg. Square the hips, front, back, side, side, chest, turn the foot out. Did anything change in the standing leg? You haven't even lifted yet. Anything change? Draw the outer line in, engage the inner line. Maybe you take that foot off the floor, maybe not. So come into your version of tree. Find your focus point. Feel the foundation of your feet supporting all of this weight in your body. Hands come to heart. Feel the foot that is on your leg or tapped into the floor. What's happening in your body? And then feel some of the effort go away. And find the quiet in the mind and the opening of the heart. And then let go. Oh, shake it out. Right? It's kind of like, which came first, the chicken or the egg? What comes first? Is it the stability in the body that allows you to quiet the mind? Is it the quietness in the mind that allows you to find that stillness and support in the body? Who knows? All right, other side. Start in mountain pose. The feet are even. You feel the spread. Just kind of wiggle that other leg's foot, knee. Maybe you do circles. Maybe turn out and you turn in, because it's all connected. It's all connected. And then find that stability. Spread the toes, level out the four corners of your feet. Start to shift into this leg by lightening this leg. Draw the outer line in. Notice when you draw the outer line in, by the way, the inner line gets longer. Just an observation there. Turn the toes out. Level the hips, level the shoulders. You decide for you, where do you want to go? Find your still point. Hands to heart, you're welcome to raise those arms. What is gripping and what can soften? Find that. Find your breath. Let go of the struggle. And then let go, everybody. Shake it out. Come on up to the front of your mat. Blocks to the front. Inhale, reach up. Exhale all the way down. Hands to block. Step back with your right leg. Everything level. Simple lunge, everybody. Your back knee can be down. Press out of your blocks with this newfound foundation to raise the arms. Bend the back knee. Bring the weight back a little bit and hold. And then the arms swan dive down. They land on your blocks. The front leg pushes off and reaches to the back leg. The torso gets long. Maybe you want your blocks, maybe you don't want them at this point. Everything starts to level out. The front foot jar lid, you all know what I mean by that by now, isometrically turns out. The hips level, the torso gets long. We find our breath. Back foot is either straight back or slightly turned in. Normally for this pose, it is slightly, the heel is slightly turned in. Bend your front leg. Hands come back to your blocks. Push off and step forward. Lightly step up. Lightly step back. Find the line. Tone your belly. Push off your blocks. Come on up. Bend your back knee. Breathe. We did this pose with the knee down. Now we're doing it with the knee up. Find that solidity, that's nice straight back foot, the nice straight front foot. Exhale, hands down. You're pushing off the front foot to take it into a sweet and long variation of pyramid. Lengthen out through the torso, everybody. Press into the big toe mound. Maybe move the blocks out of the way. Bend your front foot. Plant your hands, step back to down dog. Lower your knees to the floor. Find child's pose or any variation that makes sense. Fronts of the feet are flat. Finding our breath. Maybe in child's pose here, you close your eyes and you find the peace in this pose. From child's pose, very gently move onto your belly. So some of you can kind of slide in. Some of you have to be a little more gentle here. Once you're on your belly, find Sphinx pose, right? Wrist to elbow, elbow to shoulder, opening up through the body. Feeling this, if you're feeling the low back, just take those legs wider, tone in through the belly, breathe. Notice. And then lower all the way down. Let your hands make a pillow for your forehead. Bring the legs back to hips width and lift one leg just a little bit and point your toes, everybody. And then flex your foot and put the toes on the floor and press into those toes. One more big point. And one more flex with the toes on the floor. Good, let that one go. Breathe, lift the other leg, point the toes, and then flex the foot toes to the floor. Point and flex. Release that, lift both legs. Really work on getting to that lower end of the pubic bone so that the lower back is happy. Breathe, point all your toes, and then flip both toes under, or both feet toes under, and lift the knees off the floor. Good, last one, lift, toes point, and flex, knees lift. And then let that go. Roll over to your back. Your knees are bent, your feet are on the floor. Your shoulders are down. You're tapping into your breath. You feel the line across the sacrum. Leave your right foot on the floor. Take the left knee to your chest. Fingers around the back of your left leg. Take that leg up. Point your toes. Flex your foot. Circle your ankle and circle the other way. And then just hold, straighten the right leg. Optionally, hamstrings should be pretty open at this point for you. And then just lift the right leg a couple of inches. Press the back of your left thigh into your hands. Both knees to chest. Left foot to the floor, right leg goes straight up. Shoulders are down, point and flex. Oof. Point and flex, and big circles one way and big circles the other way. And then center, the leg presses into the hands, the left leg straightens. Press the leg into your hands. Lift the left leg optionally. Breathe. Both knees to chest. Both feet to the floor. Lift your hips, shift the hips to the left edge of your yoga mat. Draw the knees to your chest, and then allow the knees to go over to the right. This is a great spot for your block. By the way, you can take that block underneath the bottom knee, or you can take a block between the knees. It actually is quite soothing for some reason. And then the arms can go wide. And we can just find our breath here. And we can feel the whole body settling down into its foundation. Just a small twist here. Don't overdo it, everyone. Just let it be calm and easy. And know that your foundation is one of love. I believe that your foundation is love. Breathe. When you're ready, let the top knee come back to center and then the bottom knee. Your hips go back to the middle, and then they lift and shift to the right. The knees move up toward your chest and they lower to the left. Block or no block here. And we let go on this side. Relax your entire face. Relax your belly. Let go of all that is not you at the foundation of your soul. Release one knee up and the other knee up. Bring those hips back to the middle. Take that block if you had it. Lift the hips, place it under your sacrum. And then this is optional, of course. Bring those legs up to the ceiling, up to the sky. Check that the hips feel level. And then allow those legs to drift overhead as if they were being supported by the wind. Breathe, everybody. Bend your knees toward your chest. Place one foot on the floor, the other foot on the floor. Pause. And then lift off your block. Move that block out of the way and straighten those legs for some Shavasana. Allow the legs to do whatever the legs want to do, the arms. Just let go here. Soften down even more. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bend the knees and just place your feet on the floor. And place those feet on the floor with some reverence for what these feet do for us all day, how they create the foundation through which we move through the world physically. And then draw your knees to your chest. Rock side to side. Then allow the knees to roll over to one side. Curl over in fetal pose. And then press up. And bring your hands to your heart. Bow to your inner guide, that inner compass that helps us move through the world in the most authentic way we can. Namaste, everybody.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming to class. Hang on.